Yes, sir. You know, bro, it's becoming crystal clear that somewhere down the line of calling the media pawns, taking his stance on the jab or whatever and whatnot, that Stephen A's heart has been broken by Kyrie Irving. So where now he wants to take over the segments to talk about how he's that bitter ex-girlfriend and how he wants the other party to feel guilty. Yo, bro, you ever watch these shows with these girls? They're all miserable and whatnot. They're trying to talk about their troubles, but they have that one bitter friend that hates men and whatnot and wants to take over, hijacked every conversation and make it about her. That's Stephen A in this segment right here. I mean, you mean to tell me that they just sat there and allowed the man to go on his spill for 6+ minutes about the same man? And then they wonder why First Take is tanking. You know what I'm saying? You have a conversation, the girls are going over their troubles, and then here comes that bitter ex-bitch, Stephen A. You know what? He should feel guilty. I'm over here miserable and shit, trying to find happiness, and he's over there with his shit together. Fuck him. So what if I would have saw him last weekend? I probably would have gave him the goods. Yeah. So what? He should feel guilty for my happiness not being there. He should feel guilty for my happiness being non-existent. Yo, man, it's fucking pathetic, bro. But let's check it out, man, to see what Stephen A got to talk about now. Because I guess Kyrie Irving doesn't feel guilty for the Nets' troubles or success or lack thereof.
I feel about Kyrie. I think that Kyrie is a superstar extraordinaire. He is box office. That brother is worth $50 million a year as far.
Just taking a note out of the media's playbook whenever they're building you up slowly, which Stephen A does religiously, build you up to Kyrie Irving is box office. Box office, 50 million a year. He's going to build you up. Get ready for them to take shots at you.
I'm concerned so long as we know he's going to get off the bus and play because he's that spectacular of a player. I'm also an individual that is on the record that does not believe that Kyrie Irving could be trusted. I don't believe he ever deserved a long-term contract again in his career.
For the energy that you direct towards Kyrie saying that he can't be trusted and whatnot, I have never seen you direct that same energy towards James Harden, who has basically quit two situations. When the going gets tough, James Harden gets to running.
I would give him 1 year at a time. Max dollars, he don't deserve to be paid less than anybody because he's that spectacular. But you paid to show up and play and to put your excellence on display. And that is something that he has struggled to do. To Kyrie Irving, I want to say here on national television, I'll deal with Papa Kyrie. You know, Diedrich, when I see him based on a text he once sent me, that's none of anybody's business but ours. I'll deal with that when he and I run into each other. We'll have a conversation like grown men should, okay? As it pertains to Kyrie's family, I'm incredibly sensitive to what Kyrie has said because it's serious and people, I'm not joking about it, but other people have joked about it, and that's something that we should always be take seriously because we don't want people's families looking at them and looking at somebody be ridiculed. I mean, you play, and we got to call it like we see it. But when we get off the court of play or off the field of play and we start talking about people's behavior, we start talking about people's character, that's not a joke. Now, if you play like a joke, deal with that. If you shoot 1 for 20 and stuff like that, get over it, okay? Ain't no compassion or sympathy because we just talking about your performance, not you as a man. But with Kyrie Irving, it's certainly transcended off the court. And so the level of sensitivity that he has towards what his family is hearing, I respect the hell out of that. I appreciate him saying that. And I'm going to treat this subject in any future conversations about Kyrie with the seriousness that it deserves, even though I wasn't joking about him before, because I meant what the hell I said. And I'm going to reiterate that point now. Marcus Spears, Monica McNutt, Kyrie Irving, his first year in Brooklyn, missed 52 games. Got injured. He missed 52 games. Kyrie Irving last year missed 28 games. Kyrie Irving this year has only played in 14 games. Everything ain't been about the vaccine. Marcus, I'm with you. As somebody who went through hell, going through COVID and all of this stuff, even though I'm a proponent of taking the vaccine, Who the hell am I? I only do it because my doctors, my medical professionals that I trust have advised me to do so. If somebody else's medical professionals advise them against that, I never ran into a medical professional that has advised against it. But if they have one, more power to them.
Okay, so with that being said, you never basically asked Kyrie about that. You made it personal. You took that advice to get the vaccine, yet the COVID still almost whooped your ass because you stated on First Take that you almost died.
Kyrie Irving about his vaccination status. I'm talking about Kyrie Irving, the baller, who doesn't want to ball nearly as much as other ballers want to ball. KD, James Harden, and countless other players in the NBA were very reluctant and hesitant to take the vaccine. LeBron James was on the record, reluctant to take the vaccine. But they ultimately made a decision because they got a job to do. Andrew Wiggins took the vaccine. Didn't want to take it, but took the vaccine anyway because he wanted to play. Everybody universally had a problem with the mandate. Tens of millions of Americans have a problem with mandates. 1,500 people in New York City just got laid off because of their refusal to take the vaccine.
Right, and we're not talking about that. We're talking about Kyrie Irving not getting down with the program. LeBron did it. Why didn't you? That's the face of the league. Why didn't you do it? Andrew Wiggins was against it. He got it. Why didn't you? Why haven't you bowed down to the mandate yet? We're not talking about the people that lost their lives for stipulations over something that has a high recovery rate. We're not talking about that. The liberal media wants to push my body, my choice when it comes to women killing babies. But that's not ever a topic of discussion.
Over 95% of law enforcement officials, medical workers, and what have you take the vaccine because why? That's the mandate that's been handed down by the local government. What I'm saying to you is this. Kyrie's refusal to do so has to take that into consideration. You the dude that said, hell with all of y'all, I'ma do what I feel. Right or wrong, that's your position. Now, why does that matter? Here's why it matters. There was no vaccine when the season was halted. Monica, you remember this. When they resumed play in the bubble, who was the vice president in the Players Association trying to dissuade players to play in the bubble? That was Kyrie Irving. By the way, he didn't even consult with Chris Paul, the president.
So on one end, you want to tell these players to step up when it's something that you side with, when it's something that you believe they should be talking about. But when it goes against the script, that being the players just basically playing because the NBA said it's okay to play, you got something against Kyrie Irving for basically saying that they should start their own league. Stephen A. Smith, the #1 man in ESPN, can't start his own thing because he's a company man. So he's going to have a problem with anybody that basically has the mindset of wanting to be a self-starter, wanting to be self-sufficient. This is not one of the brothers that you want to tell that you are looking to quit your job. You basically keep that to yourself. You pick their brain, go about your business.
He just went out publicly and took that position. Then when they came back after bubble play, and then after the break, once the Lakers won the championship in the bubble, there was a 10-month gap between February and then December of 2020. The season started on December 22nd. 2 weeks later, 2 weeks, January 6th, Kyrie Irving needed a break because he was traumatized. Bottom.
Yo, bro, man, the bitter bitch, the bitter ex will not care about your feelings. So what that you're traumatized? What about me? What about my feelings? Always going to throw salt on how you feel when you're trying to keep it real with them. I mean, the media, all the liberals and whatnot, they push the narratives. They push politics when people are trying to watch highlights. But then when Kyrie wants to talk about being in his head or feeling traumatized, you want to throw salt on it. Which one is it? But when it's Simone Biles who quits in the middle of the Olympics, she gets patted on the back. She wins athlete or sports person of the year, something like that, bro, for raising awareness for mental health, something like that. But her teammate Suni Lee, who actually won a gold medal, gets no recognition, neither here nor there.
riots at the U.S. Capitol. What the hell that got to do with playing basketball? What that got to do?
And then on the flip side, Stephen A, a lot of fans who tuned out and a lot of people are who are basically holding on that last leg, watching First Take, watching ESPN in general, are always asking, what does this have to do with sports? Whether it's about politics, whether it's about some woman's bullshit, whether it's about some narrative that you guys are trying to push, people are asking the same question in return.
Your job. We all showed up the next day. Tens of millions, hundreds of millions of people had to work the next day in the United States of America. Kyrie, the one that didn't show up. And then you were so traumatized that you got busted partying with your family without a mask on, knowing that it was in violation of the NFL safety protocols, which further delayed your return to playing basketball and doing your job. And all the while, the people in Brooklyn, not that fans were coming in to attendance or whatever, I'm saying over the 3 years he's been in Brooklyn, people basically have gotten to see him more on the road than they've got to see him at the Barclays Center. So at the end of the day, your priority towards doing your job that you get paid to do, that enables you to be philanthropic to a very high level, enables you to be charitable, and all of that other stuff is because you get paid to play basketball. And what's the one thing you haven't done enough of? Play basketball. That is the story about Kyrie Irving. That is why he should feel guilty, because he comes across, at the very least, selfish. It's about him. Kyrie.
You know, it's pretty pathetic on the behalf of Marcus Spears and Monica McNutt that you guys got to sit there, look around your room, look at the laptop, the dust on the keyboard, and listen for 6 minutes plus of Stephen A rant like a bitter bitch about Kyrie Irving once again. It's getting pretty pathetic. I mean, yo, when you look at the mannerisms of Stephen A, his hand motions, his neck popping is just like a bitch. You could tell that he grew up with nothing but women, bro. That's why he's so damn aggressive against a black man that goes against his opinion. I'm gonna have to run this shit back real quick, but yeah, look at this shit.
Is because you get paid to play basketball. And what's the one thing you haven't done enough of? Play basketball. That is the story about Kyrie Irving. That is why he should feel guilty, because he comes across, at the very least, selfish.
Hey, yo, man. Yo, bro, man, when she gets like this, if she ever gets like this, that means it's at the point of no return. She's scorned, cut the ties. It's pretty pathetic, my man. Somebody's going to have to give Stephen A like a rebound chick, man, acting like a bitch up here. It's enough of that, man. I'm out.